Right, good morning, everyone. I think it's still trickling through a few people, but we will now get started. And so thank you for joining us in our latest of our series of our Sizewell C Supply Chain Business Support Programme webinars. Today's subject, planning for the future and building a legacy by creating a skilled workforce. My name is Ashley Shorey Mills. I'm the Sizewell C Supply Chain Engagement Director here at the Suffolk Chamber of Commerce. And many of you will have seen we've done a series of these webinars now, covering a whole multitude of subjects, but interestingly, the last few have been very much focused on the skills and people side of the project. And very much today, we hope you'll be able to understand a little bit more about what we're trying to do locally, that's focusing on what Sizewell needs, but actually more broadly what we need as a region. Just as a reminder, all our webinars, they are recorded. So we will be hosting the recording onto our website and we'll share this with you after the event. And the aim of that is so that you can go back, rewatch them, look at them again, find some of the information that was spoken about that's useful and beneficial to you, so that way that resource is constantly available, and they're available on both our website and also on Compete For as well. So just as a reminder of kind of what our team does at the Chamber of Commerce, we've been involved in the project now for 13 years, really supporting Sizewell in delivering its commitments around supply chain, and also supporting the local and regional supply chain to play their part in Sizewell in all the manners and ways it's going to happen over the next 10 to 12 years. The purpose of today then really is to help you understand the routes to support as a business, both for playing a part in construction of Sizewell C, but also the opportunities that are going to be ahead for Suffolk and regional businesses. Kind of how we as Suffolk PLC need to embrace the challenge and the opportunity that is Sizewell C, and utilise it for creating the best impact for the longest lasting legacy that we can, especially when it comes to skills and training and just generally the fitness of Suffolk and regional businesses. We want to make sure that we do as much as we can locally on Sizewell, but then we have a business landscape and a place where people can work that is fit for the future. We have an agenda and we have lots of speakers today going to be talking. So be myself when I've finished rabbiting on. I'll hand you over to Suffolk County Council and Natalie there, who will outline what they do. And then we've got our three main colleges in Suffolk who will each talk about their role as part of building this legacy of skills off the back of Sizewell C to be able to benefit us for both Sizewell, but also all of the other projects and all of the other exciting things that happened in this region. Now, of course, we then also have ample time for Q&A at the end. And certainly judging by the previous webinars, this is always something that people like to utilise, and we encourage any questions you want, specifically about the subject matter that's being discussed today, but actually also just generally about the project. Any questions you have, then you'll notice on the bottom of your page, you'll have a Q&A function. Please put all questions in there. They'll be monitored throughout, and then we'll answer them at the end. There's also the chat function. And so we do encourage, use the chat function, introduce yourselves. We always also love to hear from people who are already working on site. So if you're already working on the Sizewell C project, maybe you're working on some of the other energy projects in the region and want to let us know that, or also maybe have comment about how skills is being developed on those other projects, or the impact that Sizewell is already having on your workforce when it comes to skills and training, then please use the chat function. It's interactive. We want to hear from you. So please make sure you're using that as well. If any questions do happen to find their way in the chat function, I will make sure that they are also referenced at the end. As always, just to start off, though, I will run through a couple of quick slides just to remind everyone and continuously outline what it is we're here to do. And as a Chamber of Commerce, we have these four key themes that matter to everything that we do on this project. There has to be local. We have to see a local impact on a project such as Sizewell. And even, with the general election going on, Sizewell, as I'm sure many of you will have seen, has been mentioned by multiple parties. And actually that commitment to it, but also that commitment to nuclear supply chains, that commitment to a skills agenda, that commitment to training, it's there. And I think there's few places in the UK that kind of show that in the way that our region does. So we are really passionate about making sure that if Sizewell is going to be built, that we want it with local jobs for local people and local businesses. and that we help businesses collaborate and work together as good as we possibly can, as effectively as we can, so that Sizewell is built on time, on budget, using the local trades that we want, that then helps other projects, other businesses, other sectors of society to be able to come in. We need that legacy. We want to make sure that Sizewell is built, but also that there is the benefit beyond Sizewell. So creating that business community that is fit for all the growth that's happening in this region. And I know Natalie will touch on that a bit later. But also creating a different type of workplace, a more diverse, inclusive workplace that creates cohesion. Suffolk is a great place. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to work. And we want to make that for all parts of society. And importantly for us as a chamber, facilitating that sustainable and proportionate growth. We don't want businesses taking on too much at Sizewell and failing. We want businesses in Suffolk and around the region to be successful on Sizewell, but also be successful off of Sizewell as well. And we are there to help you understand how that works. And then, of course, finally, the environment. Sizewell C is critical to the UK government's 2050 agenda. So how can we all play a part in that? And importantly, how can we continue to reduce emissions through other types of net zero and carbon efficiency solutions to really try and decarbonise the Sizewell C project as much as we can, which then again rolls off as benefits onto other projects and to other parts of society. And then that commitment to this region of 4.4 billion across the east, of that 2 billion in Suffolk. We've said that number so many times. It is a huge amount of money. And we want to maximise that. And it's maximising that by doing what we already do really well in certain sectors that we are very strong in. It's finding those sectors that we're a bit more niche in, but we can play a part. And it's then finding those legacy sectors, those sectors that maybe we want to grow as part of Suffolk or the wider region to benefit other projects, to benefit growth, inward investment. So that 4.4 billion is very much our target. And it's all our focus and aim is making sure that we maximise on this opportunity that's coming. Now, of course, as always, social value, we say, is critical on this project. It has to be delivered on time, on budget, and overridingly, it has to be delivered safely. But then once you get past those key points, it's then about how you deliver something more than just deliver a project. And within the social value matrix that Sizewell C is setting out, increasing that UK content is a key part of it. And that procurement strategy of do local first. If you can't do local, you go regional. And if you can't go regional, you go national, is there and baked in. So we're there to help the project deliver that, to work with you as local businesses and regional businesses to help find your way in, and then to help you also deliver on all of these other areas. Because the large tier one contractors and the project themselves have all signed up to deliver on these commitments around social value, around skills, around supply chain. But actually, as the local businesses, you are quite often the solution to all of those things, because you're probably, hopefully, already engaged with the local colleges like you're going to hear from today. You're already engaged with local communities and local charities. You're probably already doing stuff locally to try and keep Suffolk as beautiful as it is. And by the nature of local businesses, well, naturally, you're reducing the environmental footprint by using local businesses because you're much closer. There's less travel. So local and regional firms have a massive role to play on this project because you solve an awful lot of problems in one hit. And of course, as always, we say with the Chamber, this isn't just about the Chamber of Commerce. It's not just about Suffolk. It's about that entire region. We work on behalf of all 6 counties, all chambers, but also all business groups and all different types of sectors. So wherever you are from, and whatever type of business or organisation you are part of, please reach out to us. We will come and talk. We will come and present. We will come and educate as much as we can. This is about spreading the word of that opportunity of growth in East Suffolk that we really want to benefit. So reach out to us for anything, and we'll more than happily help you wherever we possibly can. And the ways in which we help you, I know many of you will be aware because plenty of you I've seen who have turned up today have already experienced the help our team's been able to give, and some of you have won work on site already, which is fantastic. But we are there to act as that conduit between you as a local business and the contractor or the alliance member or the project itself who you need to speak to. So we'll help educate you on what's expected of you as a business, of the changes and improvements you can make now, the changes and improvements you can be expected to make throughout the next few years, and importantly, help you understand that timeline, which is becoming even more important now so much work is underway on site of when you're going to be needed and how you're going to be needed. And then also just helping you find that funding, that training that's available. And again, you'll hear a lot about that today, and support you in making those relationships. And of course, fundamentally running the supply chain portals. And I'll touch on that as well myself a little later. So at this point, I will stop talking and I will hand you over to Natalie from Suffolk County Council.
Thanks, Ashley. Good morning, everyone. Great to see you here today. My name is Natalie Friesler-Schmills. I'm from Suffolk County Council, and my role is the Strategic Lead Skills for Infrastructure. And what that really means is I'm responsible for looking at regional skills coordination, so working across all of the different projects that are in the region, not just Sizewell C, to really make sure that we're able to gain as many benefits as possible for our local residents. And that there are those long-term legacy benefits for everyone. Next slide, please. Thank you. So obviously we all know about Sizewell C. As Ashley said, there's already been several webinars on accessing the opportunities there. Obviously it is a huge project. Pictured there's the sister site, so Hinkley Point C. And it's absolutely phenomenal that we're going to have all of these job opportunities in the region. And it's really great to hear that some of you are already benefiting from that. But it is not the only project in the region, and there are lots and lots and lots of other opportunities. Next slide, please, Ashley. So my role is to work across all of the nationally significant infrastructure projects, and there are lots of other major infrastructure projects that don't quite fall under that NSIP heading. So up until 2037, we're looking at around 220 different infrastructure projects in our local area, worth over £70 billion. So there are huge opportunities, not just within the nuclear sector. And that's one of the things that we would really like to emphasise today, that there are loads of different opportunities across different sectors. Next slide, please, Ashley. Thank you. And as you can see, one of the really important points of looking at all of these different projects is that although Sizewell C obviously does last for a substantial amount of time, it is a big project, we're looking at 10 to 12-year construction period. Obviously, in the lifetime of our residents and their working lives, that is not very long at all. And of course, people may only be on site for a couple of years. So as you can see, this is just some of the projects that are currently in the works in terms of the nationally significant infrastructure projects. But we know that there are constantly more and more of these projects coming up. And as we have success with these projects within the region, hopefully we will attract even more. So this blue sort of timeline will hopefully sort of continue to fill up across the years and extending obviously past the end of Sizewell C. So lots of different opportunities to take advantage of, and all at different stages as well across that timeline. Next slide, please, Ashley. Thank you. And something that I always like to plug, particularly coming from an outreach background myself, is that we're not just looking at opportunities here for existing adults. And of course, if anyone does have the opportunity to get involved in outreach and education opportunities working with younger people, it's always something that as a council we would really love to encourage businesses to do. So as you can see here, we've got children that are currently in year 1, so 5 and 6. They may well be working on the project at some point, and of course thinking about longer term and all of the different projects that will be popping up through the planning system. It's really important that if you are able to support any of the work that goes on within schools, colleges, etc., it will be really worthwhile for you to do, to sort of invest in your future workforce. Next slide, please, Ashley. Thank you. So in terms of what sorts of roles are actually required, one of the things that we are looking at as a council and as a governance group as well, looking at Sizewell C, is really thinking about what is the need when it comes to skills, and which areas do we really need to look at supporting the gaps. So of course, Sizewell C themselves have got their project need, and there's some examples here of some of the roles that have been identified through their criticality analysis that they will be in particular need of from the local region. But as I said, my role and the whole point of all of this is that actually it's not just about Sizewell C. So as a council, what we are also doing is looking wider than Sizewell C and identifying what is the regional skills need across all of the different projects that are coming up. Next slide, please, Ashley. Thank you. So one of the things that we have been doing as contributing towards that and making sure that we've got that information is the Technical Skills Legacy Report. So this was completed in 2022 and is available to access still online if you'd like to have a little look at that. And so what this was really looking at was into when it comes to technical skills, what is required in our local region when it's thinking about all of the different projects that are going on. So including Sizewell C, but also looking at all of the other projects that are going on in the region. So as you can see there on the left, by 2027, we're looking at needing an additional 1,000 engineering professionals, an additional 1,200 technicians, an additional 5,000 skilled trade workers, an additional 3,000 operatives. So this is on top of existing numbers that we are anticipating having. So it's really important that as a council, we work with our education providers, of course, to make sure that there are the capabilities to actually train our young people and adults into those different areas, but also recognising the need for upskilling existing workers as well to fill those positions. Next slide, please, Ashley. Thank you. And now for the important part that everyone's probably most interested in. So there's all of these opportunities available, but how and what sort of support is available for people to actually access these opportunities when it comes to, for example, upskilling. So Sizewell C, as I'm sure most people are aware, there has been a large amount of money that has been contributed in order to support skills development in the local area. So there's sort of 6 key funds, and I will also add that this is just the money that has come externally. There is also money that will be funded by Sizewell C themselves to actually support skills in the region as well, as and when they feel that is necessary. So yeah, the top 4 funds are the ones that the council will be responsible for administering and distributing. So we've got the Employment Outreach Fund, which is really about making sure that we have got people that are work ready. So thinking about increasing the supply for job ready programs, increasing the diversity of the workforce, and really focusing on those disadvantaged groups and getting them in a state where they are able to access the work opportunities. There's the bursary fund as well, which is can be linked to that. So we're looking at removing barriers for accessing training, support and employment, particularly for people in those areas of deprivation. So this is really focusing on making sure that people are able to access those training opportunities to make sure that they are able then to go on and look at the job opportunities that are coming up. And there's the Regional Skills Coordination, which of course I'm part of, to make sure that there is some sort of strategic coordination across the different projects in the region, trying to maximise efficiencies and making sure that there is a cohesive approach to workforce development across the local area. We are also, as Regional Skills Coordination, are responsible for coordinating and drafting the skills plan as well that goes along with Sizewell C. And that's where we set out what our priorities are in terms of which areas we feel definitely need supporting when it comes to the skills infrastructure. And as I mentioned, we are working on a regional skills need assessment, which will help us to identify what those priorities should be based on the work that is coming up in the local area and the existing workforce that we have. Now, the big one that most people are interested in is the ASEC fund. So very catchy title. So it's the Asset Skills Enhancement Capability Fund. And this is a fund that will be available for education providers and independent training providers to really look at enhancing the skills infrastructure in the local area and make sure that we are able to provide the courses and the training that is really needed to make sure that we're able to meet that demand for the skills that will be in the local area. We really want to make sure that as many of our local people benefit from these opportunities as possible. And of course, if we don't have the skills infrastructure that is needed to allow them to do that, the work will just go to other companies and other people from other areas of the country. So we really want to try and enhance the number of local people within the workforce. So yeah, as I said, that ASEC fund is for education providers and independent training providers to access to do things like supporting the development of curriculum, maybe providing equipment, thinking about refitting existing facilities, supporting the retention of trainers to actually deliver those courses as well. The bottom two, as I mentioned, are run by Sizewell C themselves. So the job service, which you may well be familiar with, and Young Sizewell C. So thinking about developing that pipeline of talent coming up through into the project, as well as the education fund. So again, thinking about that sort of outreach support to make sure that there is the younger workforce is being developed in terms of those much younger people who aren't currently of working age. So there are lots of different opportunities, both when it comes to thinking about the skills requirements in the local area, as well as some funding as well, excitingly, which will help everyone to be able to access this. There will be more information provided as and when these funds are available. We're currently in the process of setting up all of the required processes at the moment. So we will be releasing information as soon as any of these funds are available for bidding. And yeah, I think that is me done, Ashley. I think that's my last slide. Am I right? Yes, excellent. If anyone does have any questions, then please feel free to get in touch with me. My email address is there. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. I'm going to be handing over now to the colleges in turn. So starting with Rachel Bunn at East Coast College, talking about how they can actually work with you to support your workforce as well. So Rachel.
Morning, everybody. Thank you, Natalie. So good morning, everybody. This is one of the first college presentations of 3 this morning. So I work at East Coast College, which covers both Lowestoft in Suffolk and also Great Yarmouth in Norfolk. As you can see from the first slide, we have some subsidiary arms of the company. One of the key ones is East Coast Energy Training Academy, which is our own subsidiary training company. But we also work with the University of Suffolk and obviously our apprenticeships. Thank you, Ashley. Okay, so East Coast College is really proud to be supporting local and national skills needs. We offer clear progression pathways from level 1 and entry all the way through to high level programs. Hang on, Ashley, I'm not that quick. Thank you. And apprenticeships. The college and all of our campuses welcome existing and new customers who want to upskill and develop their workforce, but are also looking at supporting recruitment and retention. We know at the moment that a lot of companies are struggling with recruitment and retention of their staff, and all the colleges on the call today can gladly support those. Also as well, all my other colleagues as well, we're mentioning what the Local Skills Improvement Fund. So that was a regional project that came out of the Local Skills Improvement Plan regarding core skills within aspects such as digital, soft skills and green. Thank you, Ashley.
Bear with me, Rachel. We had a little gremlin there. It was automatically skipping along. So apologies, everyone. All right. There we go. Hopefully it will stick this time. Apologies.
No, thank you very much. So East Coast College is grade 2 with Ofsted, who regulate all of the further education providers. Well, at the moment, we work with over 600 employers, which is local, regional, but we also do national and international work through our energy curriculum. We do have a range of funding streams, so wherever possible, we try and make sure that our employers are aware of that to make sure that they can maximise the training. So our main provision is 16 to 18-year-old study programmes, adult training, which could be included unemployed to employed or upskilling, higher education through University of Suffolk, apprenticeships, project work and commercial. Our largest curriculum areas are that of engineering, construction, service industries, and we also have our own sixth form at Lowestoft to promote the academic pathways. Thank you, Ashley. So, snapshot of our offer is we try and ensure that we have a diverse offer. As Natalie has already mentioned, skills within region, I don't think we've ever known such a phenomenal amount of opportunity for supply chains, tier one contractors, but also community. So we want to make sure as a college, wherever we can make sure we're working with the supply chain and companies. So we offer pre-employment programs. So AEB is the current adult funding provision that we gain from the government. We also have skills boot camp. We also have our normal FE further education curriculum of 16 to 18-year-olds. It's also about license to practices and passports and certification where they are needed for industry. Work-based training programs, which could be diplomas in the workplace, but also as well our wealth of apprenticeship offer. Higher education offer, so quite exciting. This week we are having our degree validated with the Energy Institute for Engineering. So we really want to make sure that we're forward facing rather than late to the party. We also offer bespoke training solutions and commercial packages, and wherever possible, we are looking at that future skills pipeline. So Natalie shared that great visual of young people are the future workforce. So as a college, there is no point just working with year 9, 10 and 11. Actually, we need to be engaging with primary schools a lot more because they are going to be the ones that are forming part of this exciting project. Thank you, Ashley. Oh, am I jinxed this morning, Ashley? There we go.
I think you must be, but it's fine.
Yeah.
We will keep plowing on
go
regardless.
with it. That's fine. So as I mentioned earlier, the college works with the other colleges on the call as well for a range of projects. It's really important. So prior to leaving the EU, we received a great amount of funding in region through the ESF fund, which has now evolved into the Shared Prosperity Fund. So the college really prides itself on that impact, and you can see the data on the screen that actually a big piece of our work is upskilling the workforce, but just as important is about getting that talent pipeline through. So working with people that are furthest away for employment or just recently unemployed and making sure they've got those core skills to be successful in the world of work. Thank you, Ashley. So apprenticeship offer, we offer apprenticeships from level 2 to level 6. They are designed for new starters as well as upskilling employees. There is obviously levy share opportunities within region. So for supply chain and SME companies, always work with Suffolk apprenticeship team about seeing what grants and support are out there for you. There are new apprenticeships coming on board all of the time, and we will always work with employers to make sure collectively in region apprenticeships is meeting the regional need. So one of the things I'd just like to focus on is adult skills boot camps. So we've done a recent project with Norfolk Manufacturing where we actually stripped back what were the problems around recruitment. And it actually wasn't a qualified workforce, it was the right workforce. So we actually delivered an engineering boot camp that flipped on its head. So we actually designed the whole 11-week full-time programme to be around behaviours, attitudes, and then embedded the skills and knowledge. So it wasn't just a case of someone was rocking up for an interview with a certificate. There was actually, they'd gone through that personal development, those soft skills and that work readiness. So as you can see at the moment, and we're still gathering those outcomes, we've got some really good opportunities where people have got related employment because of their skills bootcamp journey. And we are now working on wave 5 in region. So everybody will also be able to share with you in the Q&A on what adult skills boot camps are available, either for unemployed to employed, but also upskilling the workforce. Thank you, Ashley. think we might have frozen again. There we go. So Adult Skills Fund, courses for jobs and projects. It's really, really important that we work with our community and we make sure that we're inspiring individuals to take their next step. And that is all ages. So that's adult retrainers, people that may be looking at moving across workforces. And the college really prides itself in trying to understand with employers the transferability of skills. So they may be workforce movement, but we need to keep the workforce in region. It's a really strong message of skills and training leading to employment and securing that income and growth for the employers. But it's also about accessibility and also basic skills. We know in coastal communities, those basic skills can sometimes be very low, and we need to make sure that we're working with employers backwards from employment to make sure that the training is robust and leads to jobs. Thanks, Ashley. Oh, I am definitely jinxed this morning. So in terms of East Coast College, it is about the talent pipeline and it is constantly about growth and doing differently. So I've already mentioned that we have the Lowestoft campus, which also hosts our sixth form. Our Great Yarmouth campus has just secured multi-million funding from the government to be totally refurbished over the next few years, and that will really bring 21st century learning spaces. We've also got the place in Great Yarmouth Town Centre that will be opening later in the year, which is not only going to be a higher education facility, but also a community hub for learning. And we've also got Lounge, which will be opening formally over the next couple of months for civil engineering and supply chain to meet not only the Sizewell need, but also the regional legacy. So where Natalie mentioned earlier about legacy, it's really important that the work we're doing now actually secures the future for the region. So our Great Yarmouth campus rebuild, yes, is Norfolk, but only just. Over 55 million investment will be going into that. It will be linking more to a net zero campus, but also driving a community asset and that state-of-the-art equipment. So where we know there's projects that are really exciting in Suffolk, there's also the element of what can we do to recruit and upskill just over the border. Thanks, Ashley. So ECC at the place, we're working with Job Centre around the journey to employment, where we've got support and training in one location. There will be careers and advisors for signposting to the provision, not only in the town, but the region. We're looking at hosting pop-up skills hubs, aspiring learning for all ages, a funding mix to create a real positive impact. And we've also got the nucleus hub that will be predominantly at Lowestoft around clean energy, employment, and finding out more. But the key bit is also about upskilling in terms of recruitment and retention to make sure that every opportunity we've got of recruiting and also retaining the great workforce that you need. Thanks, Ashley. So just to touch on our Lounge campus, it is directly on the border of Suffolk and Norfolk. It will predominantly be around civil engineering, but we're hoping on the 14-acre site we can expand as not only Sizewell C project grows, but also regional need. So initially there will be plant and civil training, construction, health and safety, but we're also exploring aspects such as scaffolding, the rail infrastructure and highways. Thanks, Ashley. So the current position at Lounge is we've refurbished 2 of the buildings. We've got office and canteen space. And we are now in advanced relationships to ensure that plant and lifting equipment training will be happening very, very soon out of the front of the campus. Thanks, Ashley. So effective skills development, I just kind of want to finish on this piece that actually, even though you're hearing from 3 colleges today, all of us will be saying the same thing, that actually it's about partnership and collaboration, whether that's employers feeding into what our curriculum looks like, how the college can support with recruitment and retention, but also the wider piece of how can we inspire people to future jobs when they may not even know what those jobs are or believe that they can't do them. So it's that interconnective of looking after well-being, health that will lead to skills that will lead to employment. So I would just like to finish off, thank you for your time, and don't forget that education can help a lot with skills shortages and training, but we can only do that through partnership and collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rachel and Phil. Just give me 2 seconds because there is a gremlin in the presentation today and it's annoying me. So, so I'm just going to quickly stop sharing so that I can just have a quick look.
I won't take it personally, Ashley. But
no,
anyway, can I introduce you to my colleague Phil from West Suffolk College?
Thanks, Rachel. Whilst Ashley organises the slides, I'll just do a quick introduction. I'm Phil Stittle, Exec Director for Strategic Growth at West Suffolk College, or Eastern Education Group. So we're based predominantly in Bury St Edmunds, but have centres in Thetford, Chatteris, Haverhill, Sudbury, Ipswich, and yeah, very much like Rachel's offer, look at supporting local employers for apprenticeships, for adult development, skills development. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more today about a project that we're working on around the Energy Readiness Programme. So the Energy Readiness Programme is a funded project to pretty much support those infrastructure projects within this region in the energy sector. Natalie touched on it earlier. Sizewell C, obviously the main focus, but actually what you have is a lot more different areas within the energy sector that is falling out: carbon capture, offshore wind, solar panels, etc. That all comes into account. So if actually you can transfer your company into a different area within the energy sector, absolutely, this is what this project's about. Thanks, Ashley. So as we touched on there, it's really around looking at how we can support individuals and companies develop. So getting companies ready for procurement, getting companies ready for stepping into a sector they may not feel that they're suitable to. If you say, I'd like to go and work on Sizewell C, actually that will scare a lot of companies away. Our purpose and the purpose of the project is to do little steps and ensure that you are prepared and ready. Your workforce might need to grow, and that's where we link back to looking at exactly what Rachel has said, through skills development, through apprenticeship programs, through looking at work experience for our 16 to 18 full-time students to step into programs. Thanks, Ashley. So, as we said, it's looking throughout Suffolk and Norfolk to ensure that opportunities are presented to you, and that's Natalie presenting, infrastructure projects that are there, us working with you, and completing what's called a training needs analysis with your organisation. Thanks, Ashley. So, in terms of training needs analysis, that means that we pop out, we look at what do you need to achieve short term, medium term, and longer term to actually be effective within the energy sector. So it could be that actually you're really fit and ready to go, ready to procure, but what you don't have is a certain skill set. It could be a lab manager for testing. It could be a procurement officer to deal with all the extra layers that procurement might throw up. It could be something around your frontline staff and logistics. Those are the aspects that we look at in the training needs analysis. And what we'll then look to do is try and map that back to funding that already exists to ensure that it's the most cost effective for you to engage. Some qualifications will be off the shelf and available as we see fit. Some might be specialist, and I've been dealing with some individuals in the last couple of weeks where they've needed some specialist welding qualifications at level 3 and above. They've gone to the Welding Institute, for example, TWI. So that's just an example of how a need is then requested, and we then map them to the relevant training requirements. As I said, it's literally any of the areas that are listed on the bottom of that slide. So retrofit, nuclear, EV charging, offshore wind, etc. If you have a link to the energy sector and want to develop that, this is what the project's about. Thanks, Ashley. When we do and look at the training needs analysis, we cover these main outputs. We feel that these link very much to quality of structure of business. So the way in which you look at projects, looking at your QA, quality assurance, and how you deliver things, how you manufacture or support services, etc. Sustainability is a huge piece. We have a range of qualifications on climate change, on high level management within sustainability. It's all on our agendas. It will be very pertinent in tender conditions. So we need to ensure that companies are fit for purpose within that. Social value, Ashley touched on that earlier. So how do we ensure that, you know, you're recording social value, you're presenting social value in the right way? You know, engagement and giving opportunities to local 16 to 18-year-olds is a fantastic way to present that and to prove that you're engaged with the future, you know, community and future workforce for yourselves. We also look at digital skills, really important part. As technology grows, digital skills are really at the forefront. We across all the colleges, this is something that that fell out of the local skills improvement plans, that digital skills needs to improve. That could be just your traditional office-based packages. I counted up 30 different programs that were generic across you know, across use in business, let alone the specific digital skills and systems that you already use. And of course, leadership and management and finance, vital to ensure that you're robust, you're ready, you're there to stay, and we can support you in that facet as well. Thanks, Ashley. So where we link to other funds, these are the type of other funds that we link to. If we can ensure that you know, some of that funding can be drawn down from these pots, we can also contribute up to 40% of the training costs within the project. So if we can make it stretch, it goes a long way, and it really does. And there's lots of different pots, and it's just understanding what you can access and when you can access it. That's our job, so don't worry too much, but just to let you know that these pots do exist, and it could be, you know, capital grants, it could be training grants. Actually, we'll direct you in the right way, and of course, Ashley and his team are there to support as well. Thanks very much, Ashley. A couple of case studies. So we worked with DS Watson and Civil Engineers Company, and it was great. We went out, completed the training needs analysis. We looked at how we could improve their employment offer, how they can connect, and actually they went on to look at a full apprenticeship program, and it was something that they stepped into and something that they're going to repeat, which is really great. It's a different way of attracting new individuals and thoughts into their company, and it's been very successful at this early stage, which is really good to see. Thanks, Ashley. And also with Eastern Concrete, again, they have set themselves up wanting to play a big part in Sizewell C, alongside their infrastructure in building new plant and equipment and purchasing new equipment. They looked at their project team and also their testing team and wanted to increase that as per the phases of the project grew. So we again worked with them, looked at advertising vacancies for free through the apprenticeship program, also mapping them to training programs that were available locally. So again, a nice little example of how the training needs analysis is the first point. We then build from there and keep having touch points with the company as we progress. Thanks, Ashley. I'll finalise with just my contact details there, and like Rachel has said, the 3 colleges in Suffolk are great in terms of what we've had. We've got a great working relationship now, where we're sharing projects, we're sharing thoughts and processes and leads. We all offer something a little bit differently, and it's really great that we can work so closely to support, you know, the Suffolk community. So thanks for listening. I'm going to pass you over to Emma Taylor now, and from Suffolk New College. Thanks very much.
Hello, everyone. Can you see me? Right.
All good,
hello.
Emma.
Brilliant, thank you. Always disconcerting with these things where you're speaking to your slide and not to any actual people, but I'm sure you're all out there. I'm the Director of Business Development and Major Projects at Suffolk New College, and it's lovely to come and talk to you today with my colleagues Rachel and Phil, and obviously Natalie and Ashley. So next slide, thank you, Ashley. And the next one. I shouldn't have put these filler slides in when I'm having to say next slide, or we'll hear a lot of those words. So a little bit about us as a college. This is a snapshot of our 2022 inspection, and I just wanted to highlight that we're really proud to be outstanding for personal development. And what that means in real world speak is that we are passionate about the soft skills and the employability skills that we give to all of our learners across all of our programs. We have a program called the EPOS, which is our soft skills program for learners, and we try to make sure that all of the learners who come out of our college and enter your workplace have absolutely the right skills for your business. We know from the local skills improvement plan that soft skills are a fundamental employer need, and we really work hard to address that in our young people's programs, but also increasingly in our adults programs, and I'll refer to that shortly. Next slide. BSNC is our vision really for how we want our staff and learners to behave and be in the organisation, and this is also threaded through all of our activity and links back to that point of trying to be a really ambitious, aspirational, professional organisation that develops people with the right skills to thrive in any industry. Next slide. So a little snapshot of where we're based. Our main campus is in Ipswich, with a wide range of curriculum areas covered there. We have a campus at Suffolk Rural, and some of you will know that of previously having been called Otley College. And we have small satellite campuses on the coast at Halesworth and also at Leiston. We are very proud of our facilities, so we've been investing a lot in our Net Zero Skills Centre, our health science campus, our land-based campus at Rural, and all of our buildings. We aim to really have state-of-the-art, high-quality facilities, so adults and young people who come to learn with us are learning in the best possible modern workplace facilities. We also are passionate about sustainability, so we're a recent National Association of Colleges winner for Education for Sustainable Development, and we thread sustainability through all of our curriculum areas in terms of our teaching, which is part, I suppose, of an ethos of trying to add value to all of the teaching we do across all programs, so that you don't just get the certificate for exactly what it said it would do in the program, but we add other elements that we believe are what employers want and what is needed in the modern workplace. So that's an example of where we do that. I would also like to add that we serve a significantly deprived community. An awful lot of our 16 to 18 learners have additional needs, and we really work hard to make sure that we make the most of everybody's skills and abilities on their courses with us. So it's very, very important, we believe, and colleagues have alluded to this already, that in a workforce where we've got relatively low unemployment, we need everybody in our local community to be able to be effective in the workplace, and we work hard to enable that. And with our adult population, we really work hard to make sure that people have the skills they need to work in their sectors and to thrive and to progress in their professions. So please do bear that in mind when I come on to the specific slides about our offer to your workforce, to your employees and so on. That one of the things we're really passionate about is making sure that if you've got people you would really like to develop, but they're missing some basic skills, or there are some key soft skills that they need to really be able to grow them, that's very much a specialism of ours and somewhere we can really help. Next slide. Right, and then next one, when I get a filler one, just go straight through, Ashley. Thank you so much. Apologies, I'm just going to grab a tissue. The benefit of an online session is that I can't give you my cold, so you'll be very, very appreciative of that, I'm sure. I've put in a few slides here about apprenticeships, and please forgive me if I know there are many colleagues and organisations on the call, and you will all be at different stages of delivery and have different approaches to training delivery in your organisation, and some of you will no doubt be all over apprenticeships and know all of this. So apologies for that, but I do think it's an important area for us to cover with you. We know that with some of our big infrastructure opportunities like Sizewell C, that there are going to be many more opportunities to train people through apprenticeship, and it is, we believe, a really key area to get the up-to-date skills in your business and your industry. So we have a really wide-ranging offer. I'm not going to give you a list because it would cover many, many slides, but the key thing I would say is talk to us. We can often, even if we don't exactly offer the apprenticeship you exactly need, we can often flex an existing standard, and actually if you have a demand at volume, we can potentially even introduce a new standard. So whatever your need in your organisation, not just in your technical skills but in your back office areas, and we may well have an apprenticeship that's right for you. Construction apprenticeships are a real strength for us, and engineering, so do talk to us about that. We operate in a very flexible way, so flexible start dates, flexible delivery models. So we really try to make sure that we can work the way we deliver apprenticeships around the needs of your business, and have a lot of success in that with businesses we work with. So do talk to us. Don't assume that our model won't work for you. We may well be able to provide just what you need. Next slide. Bear in mind, for those of you who pay apprenticeship levy, that obviously that's wasted money for you unless you capitalise on it in actually delivering apprenticeships. We can really help you with how to use your levy effectively to support apprenticeships, and we're really keen to support you to get new joiners through apprenticeships, but also upskill existing staff. That can be a real area of strength. And if we can come up with a flexible model of delivery that doesn't impact too much on those staff delivering on an ongoing basis in your business, then we can give them new skills they can continue to deliver for you, and it's a win-win all round, especially as Rachel alluded earlier, at a time when retention is a real issue. Upskilling your staff and giving them additional qualifications is surely only going to be a good thing. We have, as absolutely other colleagues on the call do as well, onboarding support throughout, including with recruitment and vacancy management. Next slide. I won't linger too long on this one. It's a lovely shot from our apprenticeship awards this year, which was a really inspiring event. I sat on the table with CTEC, who are a company we deliver a large number of apprenticeships with, and I was there with their Apprentice of the Year winner and several members of staff from CTEC, three of whom had been in their own training with the organisation, had been Apprentice of the Year in their time. So an organisation that was really proud to deliver apprenticeships and proud of the quality of the apprentices that they were training. It was really inspiring to discuss that with them all. So I won't amplify on the words here, but we make sure that we're building in really high quality English and maths teaching. We've got not just a workplace mentor, but progress coaches and teaching staff in college, so that we give people a really good apprenticeship experience. Next slide. We have a talent pool for sourcing apprentices. So obviously a lot of businesses come to us with somebody they would like to onboard as an apprentice already, and that's great, or they want to advertise in an open recruitment process. But we do also make sure that both with our learners who want to move on to apprenticeships, but with other individuals who come through to us that we where they're suitable for it, we add them to our talent pool. So we're able to connect businesses with potential apprentices who are good to go with you and have had a certain amount of pre-preparation that makes them really, really ready to roll. I'd like to add to that in collaboration with our partner colleges and other organisations around the county, we're now delivering a programme called Thrive, which is a skills and employment service for Suffolk, which is just up and running now. And that will also mean that we have unemployed adults from the wider community that we're developing and giving new skills, and many of them will, where they're in an appropriate area or have appropriate interests, will be able to add to our talent pool. So we will increasingly have both adults and young people who are available to you, and you can onboard in your business quickly if a suitable vacancy arises. Thank you. Next slide. And next one, thank you. Got the hang of it, Ashley, brilliant. So industries training, we've got a wide-ranging offer, and do look at our website, so suffolk.ac.uk/adults. We'll give you the range of industry training and technical training for adults that we have on offer. We're adding to this all of the time, and as with other colleagues, we're really happy to do a training needs analysis with you and look at new programmes. We often do bespoke programmes and bespoke training according to need. So anything you see on the website is not exclusive. There may be other things that we can do for you or that we will add. We are regional leaders in land-based industry certification, and I might also say national leaders. Our Boroculture Skills Bootcamp is recruits nationally and has been cited as a sort of exemplar in the government Skills Bootcamp programme. So we're really proud of that one. We will be launching very shortly a construction plant health and safety skills bootcamp, so look out for that. That will be coming in September, and we'll be advertising that very soon. So that's responding to demand around the region, but particularly in the area of some of the groundworks and plant needs of the Sizewell C project and other big infrastructure projects in the area. We are also developing a driver academy at Suffolk Rural Campus, so HGV and bus driver training will be coming soon, and we're working on some very exciting partnerships around heat pump and EV hybrid car maintenance training at our Ipswich campus, so we'll be launching some more bits on that soon as well. And I've cited other courses there, but we're all about responding to demand, so do get in touch with us and ask us for the training that you need and whether we can help. We're always keen to look at that. As part of, linked to, I guess, the skills bootcamp that we're launching in construction plant health and safety, that will partly be delivered through our new internet testing centre that we're developing at our Suffolk Rural Campus, and that will enable us to provide a number of construction industry health and safety certification and tickets, CPCS cards and so on, for the construction industry. That's coming online over the summer. So again, there'll be an offer launch there very soon. And we, like other colleagues, are always looking at opportunities to fully fund this. That particular area of provision where it's on a boot camp will be fully funded or nearly fully funded, but we're all the time looking at other opportunities to be able to fund or partly fund some of this certification for your businesses. So again, do talk to us if you've got an industry need or you want to put some of your staff through a certification process. Sometimes we're able to support that with additional funding when opportunities arise. Next slide. Brilliant. I mentioned earlier that I would come back to the subject of soft skills. So our EPAS that we deliver for our 16 to 18 learners, we've built on into an EPAS Plus program. This is a soft skills program for adults and for business. We've got a really sophisticated AI generated platform with a huge amount of range of training and resources on it, but also brilliant but slightly scary things like an AI-based interview skills assessment process that you can do as part of that platform. And we link the platform with a bespoke training course for you and your business, and put the two together into a package that we're able to use to support your business to grow soft skills across your teams. So do get in touch. There are contact details at the end of the presentation. Do get in touch if you'd like to deliver EPAS Plus in your business. We're getting some really strong demand through now and some great case studies of businesses who've successfully gone through this program. So do talk to us. It's a good way of developing your soft skills. Next slide. One of the things that businesses really like to get involved with at Suffolk New College is our industry partner program. This is all about being able to connect with learners. Industry partners as a business commit to at least 3 engagements in college every year from your business. That can be talks to learners, it can be talking to staff about shaping the curriculum, it can be part of employer engagement groups to build our offer or to make sure that our offer is relevant to your industry. There's a wide range of ways you can get involved with us. Our industry partners are kept informed of what's going on in college, and we have an annual a very lovely industry partner dinner in our Chef's White restaurant on our main campus. So it's a great way to get more involved with the college over and above the other ways that we can work with you. But it definitely does mean if you come in and talk to learners, you'll get involved directly with our curriculum teams, that you have really good access to the talent pipeline, and it's a really good way to make sure your business is really known to our learners. So they look out for jobs in your business, your industry when they're leaving college. So it's something that's increasingly popular with businesses we work with, and we will obviously talk to you about it if you come to us and we haven't worked with you before. This is certainly a scheme we'll explore with you. Thank you. Brilliant. We also have, and I suppose this is another point that from your business point of view is about access to the talent pipeline. We work with all of our businesses on industry placements, T-level placements. You can see there's a wide range of placement requirements now in our programs, and we're doing very well. We're getting fantastic placements for our learners, our young learners in local businesses. And it does mean, and this works really, really well for many businesses, that it does mean that you get a sense of our learners and how they work, and you have the opportunity to potentially onboard learners at the end of their programs when you've worked with them on work placement. So it's really worth bearing that in mind as a positive way of getting some input into your business and your industry, but also another way of connecting with new potential workforce. Thank you. Brilliant. There we go. There's a magic QR code. Employers at suffolk.uk. I've also put the adults web link down there, but I'm Emma Taylor at suffolk.uk. Absolutely can just contact me direct as well. Love to hear from you. Very much a friendly open door at our college to work with employers to do the best for you and your business. Thank you, Ashley.
There we go. Thank you ever so much, Emma. Really appreciate that. And obviously, thank you also to Phil, to Rachel, and to Natalie for all of the information. And I appreciate there is a lot of information. But one of the reasons we like within our role talking about the skills thing it's some of the biggest feedback we get from businesses is that they're excited about projects like Sizewell, but it's where you find the people, it's where you find the support and so on. And we always talk about the fact there is loads going on, and there is going to be loads going on to support this. So actually, by showcasing subjects like today, kind of hopefully as business owners, business leaders, people working within businesses who want to work on Sizewell can kind of understand, oh, hang on, you know, there is a joined up approach here. And I think if nothing else shows that, you know, and my colleagues who have been on today will know this, because they've met with the single college that supports the build down at Hinkley Point C. Yet we've got 3 colleges and a university, all on the doorstep, all with locations spread all around Suffolk, all working collaboratively together with the project, with the tier 1 contractors, with local businesses, to ensure that all of this is delivered in the best way for Suffolk. So we really are in a fantastic place. And I think the key is how business plays that part, because the colleges and the county council, they've got this money, they've got this desire and this need, and it's now how businesses can come forward to outline what they need, but also importantly how they can support the colleges, because you know business has a role to play in educating these this next generation, or these people. You know, it's not always about young people, these people that maybe are slightly on the edges of society, or taken a wrong turn, or just, you know, lost work because of all the things that have happened over the past few years. So really, you know, lots and lots of information there. So thank you again. And as I've mentioned in the chat, we will share all the slides, obviously, when we also share the copy of the video, so that therefore you can re-look over and see some of the information that's going to be there. But some of the other notes before we do a couple of the questions that are there, you know, the Natalie's one when it talks about year 1, because I have a son who's in year 1. And I mean, I've spoke about this project now for 3 years, almost to the day since I started. And I've always talked about a 10 to 12 year project, but it was only the other day when I was near to site, and I was chatting to my son, and I kind of realized that he will be an adult when it's finished. And it's just that moment of his entire education life through primary school, secondary school, and college could be spent at the same time as building Sizewell C. And it's just that strange feeling that actually he could actually work on the construction, yet he's a 6-year-old boy. So it is massive, and I think it's exciting, and that's where it's great for businesses to be able to plan against and to look at. The other thing I was going to say is where there was feedback today from the college say, look, reach out to us, tell us what you need. And Rachel talked about the adult skills boot camp in engineering. And we know that local businesses in Lowestoft worked closely with East Coast College to organise, structure, and ultimately deliver that. So again, this is business saying we have this need, but rather than just expecting the colleges to crack on and do it themselves, actually the businesses went, no, we'll support you as well. We'll help you deliver this. And that's where the boot camps really come into their own. So it is so important that you can engage with the colleges, talk about what you want. And the final example I'll give, and it's a very current, relevant one. Phil spoke on the Energy Readiness Programme about how the training needs analysis identifies those areas which you need help. And he referenced procurement. And we already know there are some businesses locally who are already up against it, because the amount of bids which are coming in for Sizewell, either direct with the project and the client, or potentially with the tier 1 contractors, where they're having to put forward tender submissions and bids that they may never have had to do before, or even if they have done, not to this level of detail and of paperwork. And then, of course, also, we're about to hit this project going to properly get started. It hasn't even touched the sides yet. So you're going to need, lots of businesses are going to need to invest in their procurement and bid writing and tendering and compliance teams. So again, through work that we get that feedback from businesses. We worked with Phil and the team at West Suffolk College to create that training platform, that business readiness program, because that's feedback from businesses on what they need. And again, you telling us, we create it. Now it's down to you to reach out to the likes of West Suffolk and the rest of the colleges to take advantage, because you need to be able to procure and bid in the best way possible to win work at Sizewell. And there's support out there to help you do that. So important. So again, thank you. Lots and lots of notes as always. Right, so we've got a couple of questions that have come in. Are the colleges open to early engagement and collaboration even years in advance? I mean, I think the simple answer is going to be yes. And maybe, I don't know, before I go colleges, Natalie, as kind of a central voice in this, how are we going to ensure that colleges and businesses in years in advance of what's going to be required on the likes of Sizewell are going to be able to kind of work together?
Yeah, so I think it's really important to have that involvement as early as possible. We've talked earlier about the building up the workforce of the future, and talking about your son and things like that. So I think that is a really, really important element to bring into this, and I think anything that we can do to across all of the colleges and across all of the different training providers and businesses, if we can, whatever we can do to try and make sure that everyone's working together to make sure that we do have that pipeline being developed, I think is really, really important. And sort of linking to that as well, there was a question about taking that longer term view of what the workforce needs are, both for Sizewell C and the other projects. And I just put a note in the Q&A about that's exactly what we are doing at the moment, both with Sizewell C and the colleges, to make sure that we are able to interpret the workforce information that is being given to us by Sizewell C and actually translating that into some substantial longer term plans, so that we can actually see what skills are required, and thinking about actually how do we meet and do we need to meet that, is it a regional skills need or is it just a project need, and really making those distinctions between those different requirements and needs, to make sure that our local residents are able to get the most out of it as possible. But yeah, it's about identifying that regional skills need, because what we don't want to do is train people up to work on Sizewell C for 2 years and then there's nothing else for them to go on to. So all of that work is literally being done at the moment.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. And yeah, I'm glad you referenced the answer you put in there as well, because I think, again, it's easy to underestimate, I think, the amount of work that's going into the background on this to really ensure that we maximise what we can out of Sizewell. We bring in what we need to ensure that it's delivered. But like I say, that's what we want locally sticks to the size afterwards. And I think importantly that wider regional coordination role that you and your team do, of not just looking at one project. We are so fortunate in this part of the world that we've got so many opportunities for businesses, that actually let's train the skills that are going to help that in so many ways. And the Hinckley example to Sizewell, being able to copy and understand what happened and those trends, not forgoing the fact that Hinckley went through Brexit, COVID, what else has it had? Russia, Ukraine. It's had quite a lot of things kind of potentially get in the way. I mean, fingers crossed those three things don't need to come back round again for us on Sizewell. But actually then that's, for the UK agenda, a good thing, because then when the next big plant happens, wherever it happens in the UK in the nuclear industry, again, they've got even better examples of modelling of how to copy. And the more and more, we build the skills to build Sizewell, there is then that opportunity to export skills out of Suffolk around the UK, around the world, even in the nuclear sector, to really benefit local people, local businesses. I mean, you speak to any business who works on Sizewell B, and you try and convince them to no longer work on Sizewell B, you're going to fail, because they all love working in the nuclear industry because of the opportunities they get at Sizewell, but then also the opportunities they get to go around the UK, around the world, and really experience an exciting industry. So that's what we want to see. What can we get that means we keep jobs here, but it's exciting for our young people, it's exciting industries for people to get into.
Just to add, sorry, Ashley, I just realised I've missed something out. So yeah, particularly thinking about that sort of regional skills need, that's something that we are analysing through looking at reports like the Technical Skills Legacy report that I mentioned earlier. But also one of the things that we'd be really keen to hear from is if businesses are struggling with specific skills to, support the building of all of these different infrastructure projects in the local area. So we're trying to get as broader view as possible when it comes to these things. So yeah, if people do want to pass on any sort of particular areas where they're struggling or see that there may well be issues in the future, because some of the data sources don't necessarily always tell the full picture. It's very dependent on, you know, the inputs and things like that. So yeah, if anyone does want to share any specific sort of skills gaps that they're you know, not able to fill when it comes to securing these contracts and working on the projects, then we'd be open to hear about those.
Brilliant. Thank you, Natalie. I've got a couple of other questions that come in, so I might ask one of the colleges to step forward. So how are you as colleges, I should say, collaborating with local charities so that we're all joined up on this to maximise the value of effort? Now, I know there is already work being done, and I know it was also referenced earlier, but Rachel came on first. So Rachel, do you want to explain, because I know you do a lot of work with one or two charities in particular, and then I'll get Emma to say a few words, and I'll also have
of course.
an input on this as well.
Probably what I'm going to say is exactly what Emma's going to say. But anyway, so all of the colleges really understand that actually charities, voluntary community sector, are a real critical piece, not only within community work, but also that employment piece. So we work with them intensively, whether there's either formal or informal project relationships, because they are actually the super glue of working with individuals and making sure individual needs are met. So we have all of the colleges work really, really closely with key providers around mental health, employability, benefits support, social prescribing, just to make sure that any barriers that individuals do face can be broken down and they can receive support. Emma, would you agree?
Yes, I would, absolutely. And I'll just add to that the specific, I suppose, which I did allude to earlier, that we're coordinating a programme called Thrive, the Suffolk Skills and Employment Service, which is working with my other partner colleges on the call, and also Inspire Suffolk, Anglia Care Trust, Access Community Trust, Lofty Heights, and other voluntary sector organisations to support young people and adults across Suffolk who are unemployed back into the workforce. And we actually are really passionate about the partnership that the voluntary sector and colleges can have. I think the voluntary sector are amazing at the support piece, but we're really good at the getting people into jobs piece. And I think together we're a real superpower in this space. So I think a lot of regions of the country, colleges aren't as involved in employability programs. They tend to be a charitable thing, but we're really strong at it in this area. And I think that comes back to that commitment we all have to making sure that absolutely everybody in our county and our region gets a chance to fulfil their potential.
Okay, perfect. Phil, have you got anything additional to add, or did you just want to come on?
Yeah, no, that's just wanted to show my face. No, I totally agree with what Emma and Rachel said there. Voluntary sector is really, really important. We see it across many different sectors as well. I work very closely with the health sector and the Workforce Alliance, and actually they prop up the rest of the sector. You wouldn't believe how many employees that they support and they have. So totally agree. I just want to go back to Natalie's point earlier around curriculum development. It's really fundamental for all colleges to look at our curriculum, not only now, but into the future. So that's why it's important to have the employers at the table, listening to the future skills and needs. We can map out 60% of the jobs in the next 5 years, but after that we will struggle just through how technology is going to change the curriculum and what is coming down the line in terms of the longer term plan. So it's really important, and we chuck in a little election and that could throw things up. Now obviously we will do all the hard work on understanding the landscape, because it is a tricky landscape to understand. Do I need to do this course or that course, or how do I get an entry at that level or that level? And that's for us to negate. We just want to hear from you in terms of the hard facts. So curriculum development, really important for all colleges. So if you do want to be involved, please just reach out.
No, fantastic, thank you. And just as a final point on the whole voluntary charity social enterprise, that whole sector, the point was made about how the collaboration between the two, they're both needed. And I would go so far as say it is a triangle, a trifecta. There we go. There's a word to drop in. But business has to play a role, because we did an event recently with the charity sector in Suffolk and actually across the region. And businesses are going to be reaching out because they want to deliver their social value and they want to do good now. But actually, business can also play a massive role, because often what the charity and voluntary sector are really good at is helping people, and supporting those that, sadly, a lot of society don't. But actually, business can then go in and just support them in becoming a business, in how to run a more effective ship, if you like. So that relationship between the two, with then education as well, it if done correctly, should transform Suffolk and this region. And I think it is vitally, vitally important that we do that. And a great example of that I always give, but it is so relevant, is that we do get tasked a lot through our work with the standard, there's not enough people out there, because we do have low unemployment in Suffolk and we have to accept that. But businesses, when I challenge them, do still tend to just recruit in the same old ways. They don't reach out to the colleges maybe enough, but also in particular, they don't reach out to the voluntary sector. So instead of just looking for, someone to work in your office, or someone to work out on the field, or whatever it is, and just going through Indeed or however your normal ways would be, why not reach out to a charity instead, who probably have that young person, or that person who's having a struggle, that's desperate for a chance in life, and then working with the colleges to help train them and fund that training, looking at your apprenticeship levies, whatever it may be. There are loads of routes that actually probably won't cost you anything to employ someone, as opposed to having to pay for a recruitment advert, and you'll be doing the world of good to that person's life. So important. I will quickly reference, Natalie answered another one, when it comes to businesses or people who want to act as sponsors for pupils around T-levels, work experience apprentices, you can reach out to the colleges. Obviously, Natalie's also put that you've got the apprenticeshipsuffolk.org. So if you just search Apprenticeships Suffolk, it will come up. And that's run by Suffolk County Council, who can also support this as well. But again, you'll get all the contact details from this, and I'll make sure I put a reference to that in the email we send out afterwards. And then I think the final question that's on there, Emma, can you please repeat those charity project names? So if Emma wants to come back on, she can. I'm going to presume it's Thrive, but I will let Emma. There
Thrive,
she is.
yes.
Go on.
So suffolk.ac.uk/Thrive. If I can work Zoom, I'll even put that in the chat. So watch this space.
We'll make sure I share it afterwards, because it's on the slides, which again, just to repeat, you will get. But the key is, and I'll stress this, it's great that Emma, Rachel, Phil, Natalie have all come on today. You've always got us as contacts. Utilize, just reach out. And if one of you reaches out to Emma and she then refers you on to someone else within her team or within the new college, that's because they're going to be the best people to speak to. But utilize these contacts that you get today and talk to us about how fundamentally we can all do what we want to do, which is transform the region when it comes to skills, etc. So, and yes, you have successfully put it into the chat. So well done, Emma. Thank you. Right. Well, we've got no other questions, so I will do the last couple of slides. If any other questions do pick up, please feel free, and I will reference them. But just a couple of final ones from me. Very, very important. Compete for. So, we've spoken a lot over the years about our supply chain portal, and then about 2 years ago, the project also signed up to Compete For. And the primary aim of Compete For was to ensure that all opportunities on this project will be hosted through a centralized national database. And the key with that is to act for transparency, to ensure that it is an open playing field for businesses to be able to see what is going on at any time. Now, we are currently in progress with the project around upgrading and updating the website, so that all of our content that is currently on our website, like these webinars and support and funding, etc., is also hosted onto Compete For, especially as now we're beginning to see more and more activities happening on site. There's going to be another concrete one in the next day or so put on there. And very, very soon, we will actually be transitioning from our current supply chain portal across to Compete For as well, so that we will only have one source of information for everything. That keeps it cleaner for all. So for those who have not yet signed up to Compete For, who are on the call today or end up watching this video, please can I stress, sign up to www.competefor.com/Sizewell C. it's the place then where, like I say, in particular, if you're going to bid for any work, it's the only place you're going to be able to do it. But also it will help you as we develop the portal with Sizewell, working closely with them. You will see awardee information on there. You will see timelines of activities of work on there. So there'll be a lot more of information within the next couple of months on there as well to help support you. Then, of course, also, what else do you need? This is actually our final business support program this side of the summer. We will be doing more once we all come back in September, but we want to hear from you. So what other areas of business do you want to prepare for when it comes to Sizewell? Just reach out to myself, the team, anyone, and let us know, because ultimately our events are there to ensure that you're as best prepared as you possibly can. Come the other side of the summer, we'll understand much more than we do now around what's going to be expected of you as businesses. So we'll be hosting lots of these, but we want to hear from you as well. So please do let us know if there is subject matters or things you want us to cover through these or through events or whatever it may be. We are a resource for you as the local and regional supply chain. Sizewell pay for us, but we're there for you. So please make sure, let us know what it is you need, and then we will work on delivering that for you. So there is no further questions. So at this point, we all get half an hour back, which is lovely. So I'll say thank you, everyone, for coming along and listening today. Thank you to our speakers, and I wish you all a good day. Thank you.